I'm going to kick off with Health Canada has approved the Moderna mRNA vaccine for children aged 6 months to 5 years old. That means that infants and preschoolers can now get the shot. The dose will be a quarter of that of an adult. The Pfizer vaccine is still under review with Health Canada at the moment. That we're expecting news on that pretty soon. I'll be very interested to see what the uptake looks like for the vaccine, given that given the fact that the COVID-19 hasn't impacted children of this age group in any substantial way. So I wonder what parents are going to feel about that. I know it'll be popular with some parents, but interest does seem to be waning. Healthcare workers have been found to be some of the most reluctant to get the COVID vaccination, which may come as a surprise to some people and not really a surprise to other people. I guess they see what's going on in the hospitals. The information comes from a Canadian Medical Association journal article that's titled "Weak COVID Booster Campaign." The results were originally from the British Medical Journal, the BMJ, and that was a questionnaire that was sent out to more than 15,000 Canadian healthcare professionals. And they responded, and yes, they're reluctant. Apparently, only 55% of them, more than some people might expect, but less than others. But that's similar to the US when they were surveyed on the same questions. And the British Medical, the BMJ said that most respondents cited their reason for hesitancy as being the new technology that these mRNA vaccines are using, and cited also safety concerns. So that's very interesting. And see if government, the federal government and the provincial government can change that, because I'm sure they're going to try and give those workers lots of incentives to change their mind. The governor of the Bank of England, Tiff Macklin, said yesterday that Canadians should expect a slowdown in the economy by winter, which won't be a surprise to a lot of people, since we're all having to pull our belts tighter, where everyone's a bit more skint than they used to be, for sure. They should expect that slowdown by winter. And
that was Bank of Canada, not Bank of England. But
did I say England?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Just let those roots go.
Sorry, Bank of Canada, yeah. And they should expect to slow down by winter and a continued high cost of living. So that's not much to look forward to, including a winter, of course. Tim Macklin raised the Bank of Canada base rate by a full 1% yesterday, and that pushed the interbank loan rate to 2.5%. And by Labor Day, they say inflation will be at 8%, which is hot on the heels of the US inflation rate, which is at 9%, I think, approximately. And unfortunately, the economic growth rate is predicted to fall from 3.5% to 1.75% by next year. Another news story unfolding is confidential documentation has been released that reveal decisions in the process used to ease the pandemic restrictions in the province. So the government, the Alberta government, fought to keep the documentation from going public, and they were citing that information in the documents, the 300 pages of documents, was actually confidential. But they were overruled by Justice Grant Dunlop in the lawsuit as it unfolded. The documentation included a PowerPoint presentation that was prepared by the Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dina Hinshaw, for Health Minister David Copping, and that offered guidance to the Alberta Health Service on phasing in of the reopening and phasing out of restrictions. The lawsuit was initiated by the Alberta Federation of Labour and a number of parents of 5 immune compromised children against the government of Alberta. And lastly, for my breaking news today is Canadian government has decided in their wisdom to reinstate random COVID-19 testing. This time it will be off-site, and the testing's for fully vaccinated air travellers, and that begins next Tuesday. So Health Minister Jean-Yves Duclos said that they need to keep a tab on incoming COVID-positive travellers and to be able to identify variants of concern as they come into Canada. The random testing was only suspended a little over 1 month ago. The government said that moving testing off-site means it can better support Canadian travellers, although I'm not quite sure what they mean by that. Sounds like a pain in the proverbial to me. But travellers will receive an email within 15 minutes of submitting their customs declaration forms, and the email will give details about how to book an appointment and find your, the local test centre where you'll need to go and to have that test taken. You know what I think, Corey? I think that the federal government has a secret ministry of frustration, and I think it looks to me like they're doing overtime.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I also would just suspect and speculate there's probably some people who have some really lucrative contracts for COVID testing that really wouldn't want to give up all those tests they invested in.
Well, absolutely.